This is a teaser of this week's Gaslit Nation Early Show, where Sarah and I answer questions from our listeners at the Democracy Defender level and higher. So if you have a question, submit it there. And thank you to everyone supporting us on Patreon. Remember, if you're not signed up on Patreon, you're missing every other episode we put out every week of Gaslit Nation.
I think we need to be keenly aware of the problems that we're facing. We need to call them out. We need to criticize the Democrats and the administration that has not kept their campaign promises. We need to remember what those promises were. This was a very popular platform that Biden and the Democrats ran on in 2020. It was the most progressive platform that a Democratic candidate, presidential candidate, had ever run on. And they have, not only not fulfilled it, but really continued a lot of Trump policies to a degree that even I thought would not be possible. It's worse than even my low expectations. Like, for example, for January 6th, my fear was that the Department of Justice and Congress would attempt to hold people like Flynn and Stone and Lin Wood and others who, organized the insurrectionist attack on the Capitol accountable and would fail in trying. Even I did not think that they would not even try 1 year after that attack had occurred. But that's where we are. And, that is complicity. It's not a question. The question is, why is there this complicity? But the question of, are they complicit? Like, that question has been answered. And so, yes, it's very frustrating. And of course, heading into a midterm election when people are going to say, why should I vote for these people? Like I did last time in really difficult circumstances during a pandemic, contesting, voter repression, dealing with white supremacists and threats of violence to poll work, all this stuff that also hasn't been rectified. People are like, well, what can I vote for? And, the answer is always, well, the alternative is an apocalyptic death cult that wants to institute a one-party autocratic state, which is true. That is what the Republicans want to do.
You know how stupid, what's her name is, Ann Coulter, right? Remember, like, when we were coming up back in the day, Sarah, like, we had Ann Coulter, sort of like this Paris Hilton of the right. And she would say the stupidest things. And you think like it couldn't get any worse than Ann Coulter. And of course it has. And I was talking to a neocon young man who worshiped Reagan, who wanted to grow up to be Secretary of the Treasury. And I was trying to like find out from him, like, why, how can you stand to listen to Ann Coulter? She's so dumb. And he said, yeah, but she's great to look at. So, that is how the right in America values women. Women are objects. Women produce babies. They're vehicles for whatever God's plan. And they don't have any agency or brains or minds or wants of their own. I went to a Republican fundraiser in Oregon during the 2004 election. I went there out of like curiosity to get it to be like, who the hell are you people? And the conversations I overheard among women were just so Stepford wives, where one woman said, you don't dare cut your hair if you're looking for a husband. You have to keep your hair long. I can't even, it's just like, dear Lord, it's so, and meanwhile, I was like the hippie liberal chick like shoving my face at the buffet. No other lady was there with me. I was like the lone woman at the buffet, which I'm sure is a no-no in their book of how to be the ideal woman to satisfy all men out there, because that's your only value, right?